In the second part of this histogram question, Ravi also planted 80 seeds of type B sunflowers. This histogram shows the distribution of the maximum heights of these 80 sunflowers grew to. So we can see a florist pays Ravi more money for sunflowers that are at least 340 centimetres tall. Which type of sunflower, A or B, had the greater proportion of sunflowers that were at least 340 centimetres tall? We must show our working. Now firstly, we need to figure out of these 80, how many of course were over 340 centimetres tall. So what I like to do on my histograms is firstly to note where the cut-off point is essentially. So over 340 is this. So firstly, how many in total are in this column? We can see that it's between 325 and 350, and it goes up to 0.8. So to work out how many were in the column, I'll do 0.8 times by 25, which is the range here, and that'll of course give me 20. And how many of them were over 340? Well, it's essentially 2/5 or 40%. We can see that because 40% or 2/5 of the column is over 340. So 2/5 of 20 would give me 8. So we know that out of this column there are 8. What about this column here? Because of course these are over 340 as well. The range is 350 to 400, so 50, and the column height is 0.1. So 0.1 times by 50, 5 sunflowers are represented by this column here. So 8 plus 5, that'll mean for the B seeds, there are 8 plus 5, 13. That's right, 13 sunflowers over 340. Now, let's do the same for our previous histogram. How many of these were over 340? We'll do exactly the same. We'll write on here how many of them were over 340. So, I've done my dotted line, and I can highlight the number of those over 340. Now I know that 325 to 350 is represented by 15 sunflowers. Now once again, there's 2/5 of those 15, 2/5 or indeed 40% of those 15, which are over 340. So 2/5 of 15 would give me 6. And this one, have a look at this, 50 to 400, 50 to 400, the range is 50 of course, and we can see here it goes up to 0.04. 0.04 times by 50 will give us 2. So 6 plus 2 equals 8. So we can write that on our answers here. So 6 plus 2 equals 8, 8 or 13. Now, what we've got here, of course, these are all over 340 centimetres, but we're not quite done just yet, because it says which type of sunflower, A or B, had the great proportion of sunflowers that were at least 340 tall. So, for B, there was 80 seeds actually planted. So for B, what proportion? It was 13 out of 80 times by 100, that'll give us 16.25. But if we look at type A, only 8, but it was only 60 seeds planted. So 8 out of 60 times by 100, that would actually give us 13.3 recurring percent of seeds. It still means that out of the 80 seeds planted, the B seeds, 13 of them were over 340, which means that the higher proportion of sunflowers that were at least 340 centimetres tall were of the B type. That's how to secure all 5 marks.